After Saul had fallen in battle's flame, David mourned and called his name. He would not rejoice in sorrow's day, for God had taken the king away. Then Judah crowned him in Hebron's land, a shepherd chosen by God's own hand. Though conflict rose through Israel's tribes, the Lord established David's life. Jerusalem became his throne, a city God would call his own. And there the king desired to bring the ark before the Lord of Kings. Through mercy and through brokenness, God was faithful nonetheless, teaching kings and hearts to see the cost of sin, humility. From covenant and throne to grace, the Lord's hand moved through every place, and through the rise of David's fame, God spoke throughout 2 Samuel's name. The ark returned with songs and praise, with priests and worship all ablaze. But holiness was still required, for God is pure and greatly higher. When Uzzah reached to hold the ark, judgment came both swift and stark, a sacred reminder for all to hear. The Lord is holy and to be feared. Then David danced before the Lord, rejoicing in God's presence restored. The priest would minister and sing as offerings honored heaven's King. The Lord then made a covenant sure, your kingdom's line will long endure. One day a king from you shall reign, forevermore his throne remain. Through mercy and through brokenness, God was faithful nonetheless, teaching kings and hearts to see the cost of sin, humility. From covenant and throne to grace, the Lord's hand moved through every place, and through the rise of David's fame, God spoke throughout 2 Samuel's name. Yet David stumbled in his way, and lust and secrecy led astray. He took Bathsheba for his own, and sent Uriah to death alone. The prophet Nathan boldly came to call the king to truth and shame. And David broke in deep remorse, confessing sin before the Lord's courts. Though mercy came and life moved on, the weight of sin still lingered long. Division entered David's house, and sorrow filled the royal halls. Absalom rose with pride and hate, and drove his father from the gate. But David wept despite the pain, a father mourning loss again. The priests remained before the Lord, guarding worship and the word. Sacrifices pointed still toward atonement and God's will. Holiness was more than right, it called for hearts made true and right. For kings and people both must learn to seek the Lord and humbly turn. At last the kingdom stood restored, yet David trusted not the Lord. He counted army strength and might, instead of walking close in light. Then judgment came upon the land. A plague swept quickly through the sand. But David built an altar there and sought the Lord through humble prayer. The threshing floor was purchased true with sacrifice and worship due. And there God heard the people's cry as mercy reached from heaven high. That holy place in future days would host the temple filled with praise, where priests would serve before God's face, a dwelling of His holy grace. Through mercy and through brokenness, God was faithful nonetheless. Though earthly kings may fall in pride, the Lord remains the faithful guide. Through covenant and sacrifice, God called His people to new life. And through both triumph, tears and flame, hope shines throughout 2 Samuel's name. From shepherd fields to royal throne, David learned he's not alone. For God desires the heart made clean, more than power ever seen. So trust the Lord in joy and fall. His mercy still can cover all. And through the story David became, we hear God's voice in 2 Samuel's name.